I think this is premature to say that we haven't learned anything. Crises really do create some innovations. Go back to the nylon or the jet engines. They were created and developed, discovered, or innovations were created when the time of really Great Depression. So it is not necessarily that we don't learn anything. We may create some innovations as a result of the crisis that creates.
We learn from the past crisis, so we're innovating backwardly. No, the thing about climate change that gets me, and this is by just doing what a non-expert would do in terms of due diligence, it seems as though the biggest shift in climate change thought about what we know is the emergence in the last few years of the possibility of huge negative feedback loops. Right. So it isn't, it isn't that it would be that awful, although it would in some ways, and for some people, if we went up 3 degrees. But if we go up to 3 degrees, all the permafrost melts, hundreds of billions of tons of carbon go into the atmosphere. You have methane hydrate in the ocean. The glaciers are gone, the ice cap's gone, all the methane in the ice cap comes. And then you have this rapid rise in temperature, which is the really scary part. And I'm trying to track this down to see what the possibility of this is. But this is where you enter into unknown terrain.
But that brings you to the idea of civil society. That do we really care about the world as a whole, or do we care about ourselves?
Yeah, right.
And if we care about ourselves, then the whole notion of 3.6 degree Fahrenheit is not that important.
But again, how can we bring caring for ourselves in line with caring for civil society?
Exactly.
I mean, they're not, caring for yourself is not necessarily different than caring for your society. So I think, again, this all gets back to sort of how can we change the way we educate ourselves and each other about that connection?
No,
I mean,
there's really two major entities that don't vote, and that's the environment and that's young generations. And those two are getting screwed big time by us as we speak. And I think that there's less this realization, again, in this country than in maybe other parts of the world, including China. There's real realization that this growth they've seen in the last few years may quickly slow down because of environmental catastrophe. Right. And so I think that, no, I would tend to disagree unless you meant something else, that no, those two aspects of individualism and government responsibilities may sometimes seemingly exclude one another, and how to reconcile them is our real challenge for the next 30 or 40 years.
I think that's exactly the question that I think is important. How do we channel them together?